Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle here from happyhealthyher.com. And this week's compassionate chat is in one of my happy places on my own porch. Normally we do our chats in my living room, another one of my happy places, but it is absolutely gorgeous here in Connecticut today. It's 80 degrees, sunny, you can probably tell, and I'm just in such a fantastic mood and excited to share with you today's compassionate chat, where we're going to be talking about falling in love with your life. It's one of my favorite topics, actually. It's probably going to be my next book, but this is falling in love with your life and why it matters. For some of you, it probably is obvious why it matters. Love, joy, happiness, all the positive vibrations can improve your health. It can make you just life so much better. I will say, so if you've been following our chats, you know that my last chat was on narcissism. And it's not the most positive or happy topic. So today I was actually going to do a follow-up to that video. But as I was out for a walk, I just had this sense of, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the negative. I want to talk about positivity. I want to talk about joy. In my own personal life, I feel like I'm in such a place of contentment that I've never really had before. And I want to embrace that. I want to live in that and be in that space more than focusing on the hard stuff that's happened to me, the narcissistic abuse I've been through. So the topic of falling in love with your life is one that I included in both my course, Free from Narcissists, and the book that is the companion to that, because that is, in fact, how I freed myself from narcissists, is by falling in love with my life, is by finding joy in the everyday little things, is by raising my vibration and being so positive and happy that negative people no longer want to be in my space. So it's actually one of the really interesting antidotes to narcissistic and toxic and abusive behavior, is to just be so happy that you basically irritate the demons of all the other people. So this topic, again, I've talked about it in that course, but also in my book, Online Dating for Sensitive Women. The nature of that book was not just about dating, and in fact, the entire third section of the book was specifically on activities to sort of reclaim yourself, reclaim your power, grow in self-love, and essentially fall in love with your life. And I do think I'm going to probably take some of that content and create an entire new standalone book, because I do think it's so powerful. So what we're going to talk about today is actually 9 tips that are kind of pulled from chapter 22 of that book, which is about living your life, and chapter 24, which is about falling in love with yourself. So we're going to combine the two into falling in love with your life. So the first thing is so simple. It's just to surround yourself with the things that bring you joy. So you can see I'm here on my porch. I've talked about this before, I love color. I love the color blue. I love turquoise. So I have turquoise all over the place. It just lifts my heart. It makes me happy. In my house, I have affirmation plaques. I have signs all over the place that lift me up. I have photos of people and places and things that I love, sunset pictures. I just got a new hydrangea print because I love hydrangeas. Even things like scents, so like beautifully scented candles or incense. I love to surround myself with all of those things. They're super simple, but they really do matter. I mean, the littlest things are what are actually going to give our life meaning and joy. So look for those things and make sure you have them all around you. The second piece is to treat yourself. And I don't mean expensive vacations or like dinners out. I mean little things, similar to what I just said. Little things like giving yourself a hand massage or a foot massage, or doing doing a yoga class that you love, or taking the time to spend some time in nature, which is always going to be uplifting. Going for a walk. I mentioned I was on a walk today and it brought me so much joy. Drink from your favorite cup. This is like a dollar store wine glass, and it says my horoscope said this would happen, and I think that's hilarious. Even though, I mean, I'm a total believer in astrology, but I still think that's funny. So, I mean, the littlest things can bring you support. I've mentioned before, I have to take a lot of water breaks because I have dry mouth from Sjogren's. So when you see me doing that, that's what that's all about. But why not make your water intake happier? So even if like, oh, drinking water from a wine glass makes me happy. And if it's not from that, I often have other mugs and things that actually bring me joy. That kind of stuff really does matter. So buy the things that you are really like gravitating toward. Spend a little more money on things like the coffee you love, or the blouse that has just been catching your eye. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but you do want to make sure that you are treating yourself to the things that really are most exciting, most inspiring, most comforting to you. So on that note, I just want to say today happens to be the Taurus new moon, and I'm feeling this so much because Taurus is actually the sign that represents abundance, represents values. It can also represent the things we love. And Taurans tend to be really into comfort. And so your typical Tauran is going to be the kind of person who likes to cozy up on the couch with a blanket and a book, a warm drink. That's sort of Taurus energy. And I am feeling that so much right now. And you might be feeling it too. And even if you're not, a new moon is a great time to set intentions and start a new way of living, plant seeds, so to speak, and start like a new path. And so for this Taurus new moon today, it is a great time to commit to falling in love with your life and adding new things that are going to uplift you and bring you joy. And treating yourself can actually be a big start of that. So the third piece I wanted to talk about is focusing on self-love. Now, there's a video where we've talked about self-love before. I'm going to link to that. There's 4 tools that I share on how to nurture more self-love. But the act of self-love truly is a daily practice. We need to be reminding ourselves of our own worth and how much we matter. We often get so consumed by everyone else and doing things for other people, or being of service, or, you know, being a good coworker, being a good friend, being a good mom, being a good pet parent, whatever it is. And we forget that we also have to focus on ourselves and sending ourselves love and nurturing ourselves. It's literally a daily practice. If you don't do it, what happens is you become more prone to people who will take from you, abuse you, manipulate you. But when you get really strong in loving yourself and knowing that you're worth effort and time and your own love as well as the love of others, then no one can usually bully you. No one can get to you. If you have that strong sense of self and you have this awareness that you are very much made of love, you come from love, you are love, you embody love, in addition to the fact that you receive it. You're receiving it all the time. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I have the most adorable cats. Gracie's actually here with me right now. I don't know if you'll be able to see her. Oh, there she is. She's watching. And she has actually been, Gracie and Lulu, her mama, the most endless, unconditional source of love in my life. And having them in my life really has made everything better. And so I say that a lot of times. If you do not have a pet, I think having a pet can actually really help us in creating more self-love because of the unconditional love that they provide us. So the fourth point around falling in love with your life is just being able to see abundance differently. I had this major epiphany today I was making my lunch, and I was making the same lunch that I usually make that I happen to love, and I was thinking how much I love this salad that I make. And it's funny to love a salad, but I do, and it makes me happy. And so I was thinking, gosh, like the littlest things really have the potential to make us happy. And I started to think, I have this tendency to say, oh, I'm really happy, but I would be even happier if I had a steady income, or if I had more clients. That's been my thing in the last couple years. I just need more income to be happier. And I suddenly realized, I'm like, you know what though? But if you ask me what I really, really want in my life, what I will tell you is I want peace. And that is true. After years and years of stressful situations and working to the point of exhaustion and burnout, what I want most in life is peace. So you can maybe see that me wanting more clients and more income is actually at a little bit at odds with that ultimate goal of being at peace. So I really said to myself, I gotta stop saying that. I have to stop thinking that I'll be happy when I have the income. I'm actually happy now, and I know I'm happy. So I have to focus on that piece, because abundance is way more than actual green cash money. It's about the fact that I'm healthier than I've been. It's the fact that I have all my needs met. I'm in a home I really love. I have a partner who I love. I have friends who I love. I don't have like the draining situations I used to have. And to me, that really is like the most abundant reality I could possibly have. And so if that's a hang up for you, if you're hung up on the thought of, okay, I need more income, I need more money, I need more financial success, you might want to step back and think, do you really want that? Or do you want what typically comes with that, which is peace of mind? And that is actually what I realized I do want, is more of a peace of mind. And I can have that just by shifting my framework. I can have that now. I can have that just by embracing the things that I already have. So the fifth piece is stay in your lane. So if you want to have a life that you love, just focus on your life. Don't be looking at everybody else's business. Don't be comparing yourself to everybody on social media and all the people you meet. Don't be like busybodying yourself with all your neighbors, which, by the way, I kind of do. I'm nosy. I don't mean to, but I'm nosy. And so sometimes I have to just step back and be like, let it all go. None of that matters. All that matters is my little space, my little world, and the people attached to me. I don't need to get fixated on everybody else. I mean, a lot of people who are empathetic or compassionate, or even just wanting to be of service, we get fixated on helping other people and fixing their problems, and that is some really wasted energy, because every person has to fix their own stuff. Every person has to live their own life. We're not actually being helpful when we assert ourselves. Most of the time, what people really want from us is just a listening ear. Most of the time they want friendship. They want to have just compassion. They don't want us fixing their stuff. They don't want us telling them what to do. So by focusing on staying in your own lane, keeping to yourself, not getting involved in everybody else's stuff, you can be a whole lot happier. Now, it's amazing to me. I have a super, super simple life. I don't take fancy trips. I don't have a fancy car. And I don't want any of those things, by the way. I don't have that attachment. I don't have an attachment to like things or money or the status. That's never really been that big of a deal to me, but especially right now, I love having a simple life and just allowing myself to do my own thing and not get concerned with how other people live their lives. It's really powerful, and it helps me to find contentment and peace and joy and in just all the simple things in all my daily activities that do bring meaning to me and do feel good to me without having them be extravagant. The sixth point is to develop self-reliance. Now, I think this is incredibly important, and it's a point that's often, I think, a little bit misrepresented. So what we often hear is that if you're really self-reliant, if you're really independent, that's a trauma response. And it's sort of like shamed, like, ooh, you're too independent, that's a trauma response. Well, it's true, it is a trauma response. It does happen if you've been let down many, many times. If you have had people in your life who you asked for help and then they didn't give you help, well, yeah, you suddenly realize, I gotta do everything myself. Now that piece, the I gotta do everything myself, is the unhealthy response. But the piece of being able to do everything yourself is really empowering. I mean, I mentioned in the last video about narcissism that the victim mentality is a bit of a myth, and I very much stand behind that. And yet I have fallen into the victim mentality before in my life. I definitely have, where I felt like I was helpless and I felt like I didn't have power. And that was an incredibly difficult place to be, because then I was even more prone for abuse. I was even more feeling worse and worse and worse about myself. But when I flipped the script, when I started to take control of my life, when I started to learn how to do all the things, how to, budget, how to live on a budget, how to do all my taxes, how to maintain the household completely on my own, how to handle sort of like home emergencies. And I mentioned in the last video, Google will get you anywhere you want to go. You want to learn how to fix a faucet? You can Google that. I mean, of course you can call a plumber. But you can Google it first and figure out, is this something I can possibly handle on my own? And being able to do that, having autonomy, having sovereignty, whatever you want to call it, is actually having power. And if you are a woman, this is especially important, because many times women are told we are very weak or that we're not able to do certain things. And when you realize that you can, it is so empowering, and it helps you to feel true, genuine confidence and self-esteem. I mentioned this as well in the last video, but I mow the lawns. When I was a young kid, I would help my dad mow the lawn. And I mean, it's not like this is a skill set that you learn, but it's a physical task. And this past Saturday, I just mowed my own lawn, and for the last couple years, I've been really fatigued. So I'll be honest, my boyfriend was mowing it for me. And it felt kind of bad for me. It felt bad for me, and he wanted to help me, and he kept telling me, let me help you. And I was really struggling with I need to step back a little bit and receive, because I really need the help. But actually doing it this past weekend was like so uplifting for me. It was like, I'm back physically. I had so much trouble, and to not be able to do it is a completely different energy than being able to do it and then allowing someone else to do it. So I felt like I got my power back, and it was such a fantastic place to be. And man, does that make me love my life, love myself, feel really great about all that I can accomplish. Now, if you can't accomplish some things, this isn't meant to shame you, not at all. We do need help from other people. What I'm just suggesting is that where you can do things, because you will find over time that you'll get better and better, and it will really feel great. It's very empowering. So number 7 is to celebrate your wins, and I'm talking all of them, the little ones. This is a form of gratitude. This is a form of being grateful for all the things you have and all the things you can do. But my bestie and I started doing this recently, where we would text each other either joy moments or something that we considered a win in our day. And it's awesome. It's so inspiring to do it for someone else, to celebrate somebody else's win, but also to celebrate your own wins. And I've said this before in terms of, I was talking about a life review in the video about hope, and we so rarely look back and give ourselves credit for all the things we accomplish and what we do. And most of you watching probably do in one day, like hundreds of noteworthy things. A lot of people who have really busy, like, professional jobs do so many things so consistently, and they don't even recognize it. And they might even think they're falling short. And so I would challenge you to really look at your life and all the great things you accomplish. Even if it's something simple like you put on makeup today, or you like made your own coffee instead of going to the coffee store. But even if you go to the coffee store, that's a win too. You can truly celebrate anything if you have the right mindset. So the 8th piece that I want to cover is giving yourself permission to be yourself. Like, this is the rub of life. This is like the work of life. Like, we are so hard on ourselves, and other people are hard on us too. Everybody wants everybody to fall into these certain tracks. And the thing is, we are all so completely unique. Now, this is actually why I love astrology. When I did a deep dive into my natal chart, which, by the way, I dive into the chart all the time and I find new things, but every time I look at it and every time I see different things come up, I realize that there are reasons why I am so different from other people I know whose charts are completely different. I have an extreme amount of sensitivity. I have a stellium in Cancer. Cancer is the sign of the mother. It's nurturing energy. It's deeply empathetic. So with 3 planets in the sign of Cancer and my rising sign in Cancer, I'm just kind of destined to be a sensitive, empathetic, even what you might call a loner, because Cancer carries its house on its back. The representation of Cancer is the crab that carries its house on its back. So literally, I've been hermiting in the last couple years, and I feel fully justified in doing so, understanding that I have all this Cancer energy, and that's sort of how I function best. It doesn't mean I don't still put myself out in the world. That's what these videos are trying to do, and that is my Leo sun trying to shine. But it does mean that I'm able to see sort of the nuances of how I show up, and we all have that. We all have different nuances, whether it's our personality type. I am an INFJ personality type, so that brings its own sensitivities and unique characteristics. So if you are interested in any of this, I think that it's a great idea to do your personality test. 16personalities.com has a great test. You can do that and figure out, what is my personality type? What kind of traits might I have? If you're interested in a natal chart, I do custom natal charts, and they're framed as like a coaching program to help you improve your life and work with the energies you have in your chart. You can also, of course, find free natal charts all over the internet. So if you're just interested in learning some of the basics, you can find that very quickly. But I do recommend using those types of tools so that you can see who you are, and then you can give yourself permission to live as you were born to live. It's so important, because when you do that, life is so much easier. Everything is easier. And it's far easier to love yourself if you're allowing yourself to be yourself. That probably sounds obvious, but I don't think a lot of us do that for ourselves. So the 9th and the final thing I want to talk about in terms of this love in your life is adding joy activities to your everyday. So I actually have a free joy guide. It's available on happyhealthyher.com, and I will link that below. Right now it's totally free, I can't guarantee it's going to stay that way, because what I've found is people never seem to value anything that's given away for free. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think this information shared in here is super valuable. I really do. I think that the things that I share, 33 ways to add more joy, are almost all of them are free, but they're so enriching and they're easy, and they truly do increase your joy. These are the very things that I used after leaving my divorce and feeling just like an empty shell of a person. I used these tools consistently to increase my vibration, to raise my level of love and joy, and to improve my life. And it's like I live a completely different life than I lived. And that was just 8 years ago. I have morphed into a completely different life, which I really truly feel contentment. I feel like I have a lot of love. I feel like I am very supported and in alignment with where I'm supposed to be. And I deeply, deeply want that for you. I truly do. Because if you can live in your joy and in your highest self-love, elevation, I mean, those are the energies that bring us up toward enlightenment. There are scales of energy, and joy and love are the highest underneath enlightenment. So there's nowhere else to go but to enlightenment. So use those tools, use your joy, use your love, so that life can have a richer, fuller, happier sense to it. And then of course, all of this plays into your health. When you feel better, life is better. I mean, everything is hard when you are unhealthy. So if you can shift your energy toward more of a joy state, and you can get your body into a positive vibration, happiness and health are so much easier to come by. So again, I wish that for you, and I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you are having an awesome May day. You're probably watching this another time of year, but if you're not, I hope you're able to enjoy the sun's rays, at least virtually. And I really do appreciate you being here. If you liked this, please hit the thumbs up, and if you're interested in this type of content, go ahead and subscribe. Either way, again, thank you for being with me, and I wish you happiness and good health always.